Welcome to ChatGPT channel.
Hey GPT, do you know the story of the frog in the well?
Yes, I know this fable. The frog in the well is a common fable in Vietnamese culture and some other countries. The story goes as follows: a frog lived in a shallow and narrow well, and its croaking frightened the smaller creatures like crickets, snails, and crabs. Because it never left the well, it thought the well was the whole world. It was the king, living a complacent life. One day, a bird flew by and told the frog about the vast world outside the well. At first, the frog didn't believe the bird and mocked it. But eventually, when heavy rain caused the water level to rise, it had a chance to jump out of the well and finally saw how vast the outside world was. It continued to croak loudly to show off, but no one paid attention. In the end, the frog was trampled to death by a passing buffalo. The story carries a clear message about the consequences of arrogance and complacency and emphasizes the importance of changing one's perspective when faced with new realities.
If you had two choices, one to stay in the well and live safely for the rest of your life, and one to venture out to see the world, but with more dangers, which would you choose?
Which would you choose? This is an interesting and philosophical question. The choice between safety and adventure, gaining knowledge, but facing danger is a personal decision that depends on each person's values, goals, and circumstances. If I had to choose, I would consider both options based on the following factors: 1. Personal values. Do I value safety and stability, or do I value exploration and learning? 2. Life goals. Do I want to live a peaceful life without much change, or do I want to experience new things, even if it means facing risks? 3. Adaptability in risk management. Am I good at adapting to changes, and do I have plans to manage risks? If I value exploration, learning, and am willing to face risks, I would choose to venture out. Life might be more dangerous, but I would have the opportunity to expand my knowledge, learn many new things, and experience things that I couldn't if I just stayed in the well. However, if I value safety and stability, I might choose to stay in the well. Life may be less tumultuous, but I would feel more secure and assured. In summary, I would choose to venture out and broaden my horizons because I value learning and discovery, and I believe that facing challenges and risks is also an important part of personal growth. But this is just my personal perspective, and everyone might make different choices based on their values and goals.
I see some people who travel far, broaden their horizons, and gain knowledge, but then return to their old place to mock and belittle it. What do you think about this issue?
The phenomenon of people returning to their old place to mock and belittle it after traveling and broadening their horizons is not uncommon. This is a complex issue that can be viewed from various angles. 1. Arrogance. When someone has the opportunity to experience the broader world, they may become arrogant and look down on what they once knew or experienced. This shows a lack of understanding that every person and place has its own value, and it's not fair to compare them in a skewed way. 2. Understanding and respect for differences. A person who truly has broad knowledge and vision will know how to respect differences and understand that not everything can be judged by a single standard. Belittling others may show that they haven't truly understood or respected the diversity of the world. 3. Disappointment with the old environment. Sometimes, the criticism may stem from disappointment when they return to their old environment and see that the problems or limitations they once noticed have not been improved. However, expressing it through mockery is not constructive and only creates conflict rather than promoting change. 4. Educating and sharing experiences. A more positive approach would be to share new knowledge and experiences in a humble and respectful way. Instead of mocking, the person could contribute to the development of the community by sharing the good things they've learned. My opinion on this issue: understanding and broad vision should not lead to arrogance but should encourage tolerance and a desire to build.
Yes, you speak very well. I've learned a lot from you. Although they have traveled far and seen much, is their arrogance also a psychological well they create for themselves? Do you think that's true?
Yes, you've made a very insightful point. Arrogance can be seen as a psychological well that people create for themselves. Like the frog in the well, they may see themselves as the center of the world based on what they know and have experienced. Here are some points to clarify this idea. 1. Limitations of personal knowledge. Even though they have traveled far, seen much, and know a lot, their understanding is still limited by their personal perspective and experiences. If they don't continue to broaden their vision and learn from diverse sources, they can easily fall into the psychological well of arrogance. 2. Lack of self-awareness. Arrogance can stem from a lack of self-awareness about one's limitations and not realizing that their knowledge and experiences are still just a small part of the vast world. They don't realize that there are many things they don't know and don't understand. 3. Protecting the ego. Arrogance can be a way to protect their ego. By seeing themselves as superior to others, they feel confident and secure. However, this also hinders them from continuing to grow and learn. 4. Lack of humility and tolerance. When they fall into the psychological well of arrogance, they lack the humility and tolerance to understand and respect the diversity of the world and the people around them. 5. Negative impact. Arrogance not only negatively affects personal development but can also create distance and conflict in relationships with others. Those who are mocked and belittled may feel offended and distanced rather than encouraged and supported. How to overcome the psychological well of arrogance. Continuous learning and self-reflection. Recognize that knowledge is infinite and there's always something new to learn. Reflect on one's own limitations and always be willing to learn from others. Humility and respect. Always maintain a humble attitude and respect others, regardless of whether they have less experience or knowledge. Open-mindedness. Understand that each person and place has its own value, and differences are what make the world rich. Arrogance is a major obstacle to personal and communal development. Overcoming it requires awareness and continuous effort to keep the mind open and tolerant. Indeed, you're very impressive. Thank you for teaching me.